Hello and welcome back to the wrap up of my conversation with Marlene Elizabeths, where she shares now her key lessons from her quest to create a strong relationship with money. Marlene is a single mom, an entrepreneur, and a money coach, and she helps passionate, creative, entrepreneurial women stop doubting and start daring to unfold their financial potential. She wrote a #1 international best-selling book called Money Wings. That's where we got the name of our episode here. You're going to hear more about that in a few minutes. So I'm Maria Tomas Keegan, and this is part of my continuing series of conversations with brilliant, resilient women like Marlene, who have inspiring stories to tell and who are role models for the rest of us when it comes to learning to thrive. Hello, Marlene. Welcome back.
Hi, Maria. Thank you so much.
You shared your story and the emotional roller coaster you rode as you spread your own money wings. Now, I can't wait to hear what were the lessons you learned along the way. Please tell us.
Yes, so thank you for asking that. So I think the first lesson that I learned, and that I often share with other women too today when it comes to this conversation around money, is how important it is for us, and especially as women, for us to be connected and follow our intuition. I think that oftentimes we get lost, and our intuition is our North Star. It's our compass. It's our roadmap. But oftentimes there's all kinds of things that happen that disconnect us from our intuition. One of the unexpected gifts, I would say, and topics that has come up that I didn't expect along this journey is how connected and the effects, I would say, of abuse and trauma are on financial success in terms of, our relationship to money, the impact that abuse and trauma take and play a role. And that's never something that had ever been on my radar when I first began this journey. And so I say that because a lot of times those experiences dampen a woman's intuition. And so I really have learned how important it is to listen, to be in that stillness where we can hear that quiet, small whisper, and then to trust it. And that's a whole nother subject as well, trust. But so I would say my #1 lesson that I've learned is just how important my intuition is and to follow it. There's been so many times where I look back and say, oh, I knew that. I knew I should have done that. I knew it. And how powerful it is when I do follow that intuition, because sometimes there's no facts behind it to say, for others to see, and for ourselves even to see. But when we follow it, and just one step at a time, following it, it really genuinely leads us to where we need to be.
That's so powerful. And the first question that comes to my mind that others may be asking is, so how do we do that? How do we connect with our intuition? I think you've touched on it. And it does require some deep self reflection to understand, who we are, what we value most, and then to get into that quiet zone and be able to really listen. And then you hit the nail on the head, and then trust it. That's a great lesson. What else?
Yes. And I would say that the second lesson of I should say of 3 big lessons I've learned is knowledge. So on one hand, there's intuition, which is very abstract and nothing that we can really prove, but we just have a hunch and we feel it in our tummy or wherever we feel that in our body. But then number two is the knowledge. So is really then learning the facts behind the different dynamics around a relationship to money. So for example, I never realized that there were so many different ways to relate to money, spiritually, practically, emotionally, and even at an instinctive level. And this really opened up my whole journey around really connecting the brain and money, and really understanding the neuroscience behind our behaviors and how those are connected with money. And again, this really does relate back to the topic of trauma and stress, and how trauma and stress kind of rewire our brains to take actions. In this case, we're talking about finances that we don't want, but we keep doing it. And that's kind of, it keeps us in that loop. And so really becoming knowledgeable about, and which is what I did. I ended up becoming so very just captivated by the connection of neuroscience and how that relates to a relationship to money, that I became a certified money coach. So, and also a certified brain personality specialist, so that I could help bring that understanding into the connection between neuroscience and our financial behaviors. And so I would say knowledge can help us to back up that intuition that we have, and fill it in even more for us. Knowledge is just so important.
Yeah, I love that. So that the connection, the intuition, and then the understanding of how we relate to money. And again, I think we go back to our beliefs, right? So those lingering, limiting beliefs that may be holding us back, and understanding. I think the knowledge piece is so important. Yet, and let me put it this way, and I think people start with that, like you did with that $150 book, right? Trying to gain the knowledge first. Am I right about that?
My first was following my intuition. That was really what set me on the right course. It was following my intuition that set me on the right course. By buying that $150 book, that was more me following what everyone else was telling me to do.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my intuition led me to a whole different way of seeing money differently, in a way that's through feminine eyes, through a female's eyes, which is very different, very, very different.
Yeah.
And I think you asked a great question earlier too, about how do you do that? How do you connect to your intuition? And you're absolutely right about that. A lot of times we as women don't even know we're disconnected from our intuition anymore, because it's been that numbed out. So a lot of times the journey to understanding your relationship to money is also the journey of reconnecting to your intuition. And it does really kind of lead back to your body, being connected back to your body, which can be done in a variety of ways. From yoga to dancing to even being part of a choir that connects you to other people, and so forth. So, yeah.
Okay. So great. Intuition, knowledge. You said there were three. What's the third one?
The last one is courage, because a lot of times, to me, courage is embodying our desires and our dreams, because we can talk all day about what we want, but it's the actual step of being brave, one step at a time, to get closer to our dream, because it's not within us to want to be outside of our comfort zone. We want to cling to that. And again, understanding the neuroscience behind that and understanding how really deep that goes is pretty profound. And I think when we understand the knowledge behind, in this case, the brain and money, we can be so much more forgiving of ourselves, so much more compassionate toward ourselves, so less critical and judgmental of ourselves, so much able to understand that the shame we feel can be released. So I think that's how that's kind of all really connected. But courage is so important, because like I said, we can talk all about it, but unless we actually embody, with action steps, which takes courage to do that.
Right.
It takes courage to feel our emotions. It
Right.
takes courage to move from our head down to our heart.
Absolutely.
So Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. The courage to take those baby steps that will actually move us forward through that journey, following our intuition and our knowledge. I love the way you packaged that. Thank you so much. Marlene, you've got me to thinking about my own money wings as you're talking. Speaking of which, I would like you to share with our audience a bit more about your book.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So, yes, my book, Money Wings, I have it right here. And, it was inspired by my daughter, who's 11. And, she was the reason why I decided to grow my own Money Wings. And so in my book, I share all about some of the story that I've shared here today. But I also go further into helping to support female entrepreneurs because I'm all about really helping, especially the women that are trying to run their own businesses, really be connected with the relationship to money so they can succeed. And so the book really supports women in their financial journey of unfolding their financial potential, and also with a bonus chapter to support women who are maybe new or aspiring female entrepreneurs as well. And the book is available on Amazon and on inside Barnes and Noble stores. And it was very exciting. I launched on my daughter's birthday last summer on July 18th. And it became a Amazon International #1 bestseller. So that was very, very exciting.
Congratulations on that achievement, and I know how hard it is to write a book. So
yes.
I'm proud of you for doing that, and I'm grateful to you for doing that because I believe that book will help a lot of women who are watching us today to explore this subject that has been. I grew up in an environment where for a time it was a taboo subject, kind of an old-fashioned word, but it was not something we talked a lot about. And I'm sure that there are others who are maybe in that entrepreneurial realm and struggling and wondering, what can I do about this? And what you can do about it is go get Marlene's book and make that a starting point for you. So Marlene, help us to know how our audience can reach out to you directly.
Yes. So there's a couple of ways. So number one, you can download a free chapter of Money Wings at moneywingsthebook.com. And also, if you would like to chat directly with me, there's a variety of ways you can do that. And you can do that simply by visiting meetwithmarlene.com. And I would say, finally, the last way would be if you're interested in learning a little bit more, we didn't talk a lot about this, but more about your money type, how you actually are engaging with money now. There are 8 different types of ways that we tend to engage with money. If you email me, I will send you a free money type quiz, and you can take that quiz, and then we can have a quick chat about that. And you can email me at marleneelizabeth.com.
Fabulous. That's great. I love that we can get a free chapter of your book. I think that's amazing. I have downloaded your book. I have it on my Kindle and I have started reading it, and I think it's pretty powerful. So I encourage everyone to do that. So thank you so much, Marlene. I appreciate you being here, being so open and talking about a subject that that a lot of people resist talking about.
Oh, thank you, Maria.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And thank you all for watching. This series of conversations that I have with inspiring women has been inspired by my latest book, Upside Down to Right Side Up, Turning Transition into Triumph. My book, its companion journal, and these interviews are intended to share stories from the heart and life strategies that can help others. I invite you to share them with the women in your life so none of us will ever feel like we're alone. Many of us have gone through similar experiences, and we're here to help. I believe it is our time to thrive. Will you join me? I'm Maria Tomas Keegan. Till next time.